Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We begin tonight with breaking news out of Manhattan. A truck mowing down bicyclists and pedestrians in lower Manhattan. At least 8 people have died. At least 15 people are injured. The suspect in custody from our area, a Tampa man identified as 29-year-old Seyfulo Saipov. ABC's Maggie Rulli is live at the scene.
That truck driving off of the highway onto the sidewalk just a couple of blocks to my right now in an alleged act of terror. Now this entire area is on lockdown.
This was an act of terror, and a particularly cowardly act of terror aimed at innocent civilians.
Emergency vehicles poured into the area near Ground Zero. Police shutting down Manhattan's West Side Highway in the shadow of the World Trade Center #1 building.
I saw a guy in the West Street and Chambers Street corner. He was had 2 guns on him, and he was just running in the street.
Initial reports of a truck plowing into people and shots fired. People scrambling for safety.
I was walking down the road. I see a group. It was 2 women and children. So they're running. I hear one of the young girls say, "He's got a gun. He's got a gun." So at that point, I turn around. But around 30 seconds to a minute after that, I start hearing gunshots. So it was probably around 5 to 10 gunshots, one after another, very fast.
Police say the suspect got out of the vehicle with an imitation firearm and was shot by police officers. He is now in custody.
The driver of the truck, a 29-year-old male, exited the vehicle brandishing 2 handguns. A uniformed police officer assigned to the 1st Precinct confronted the subject and shot him in the abdomen.
Emergency response officials are taking away injured victims on stretchers. Police and the FBI are now investigating. Authorities have named the suspect as 29-year-old Seyfulo Saipov from Tampa, Florida, and say they're responding to this act of terror with an increased police presence, and that so far Halloween will go on as scheduled. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, New York.
Of course, ABC7 and our colleagues at ABC News will keep you updated throughout the evening. A follow-up now to a story that we first brought you yesterday, a disturbing situation at a Bradenton cemetery. Tonight, we are learning more about who is responsible for apparently abandoning a cemetery. Some graves at the Adams and Rogers Cemetery were covered only with sand, resulting in animals disturbing the remains. Apparently, no one owns the property. A sexton keeps track of who is buried where and sells plots off to local funeral homes. But some say those graves are not dug deep enough.
If an animal can unearth a gravesite, I mean, obviously it's not buried enough. The person has to be protected, either in a steel casket or in a concrete burial vault, or both.
According to the state, there is no law mandating who takes over abandoned cemeteries. A 19-year-old is in critical condition after being shot in Palmetto last weekend. The sheriff's office was notified that a victim of a gunshot wound was at the hospital. Detectives are investigating and asking anyone with information to contact them. The suspect is described as a black male, last seen wearing a black hoodie and black pants. Manatee Sheriff's investigators are also looking for answers in a possible deadly hit and run. Emergency workers found the man seriously hurt on 14th Street West Friday. He was taken to Blake Hospital where he died. Deputies say an autopsy found the man may have been hit by a car and are now investigating it as a possible hit and run. There was no evidence at the scene and witnesses did not see a vehicle hit the man. If you witnessed anything, you are asked to call the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. More than $1.2 billion in federal food assistance has been distributed around the state since Hurricane Irma hit in September. 937,000 applications have been processed for the Disaster Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Another 1 million households were provided with supplemental SNAP benefits. The state says this will help more than 7.2 million Floridians recover from Irma. More than 6,000 state workers have been deployed to assist the federal program, including 1,500 temporary workers. The annual sales tax holiday for school supplies was so successful it may be coming back next year. Sales taxes would be lifted for 2 weekends before the start of the 2018 school year on clothes, school supplies, and personal computers under a bill filed this week in the floor of the Senate. The back-to-school sales tax holiday proposal would allow shoppers to avoid paying sales taxes for 10 days in late July and early August.
Some people just can't wait because school starts earlier in different parts of the state. So some people actually kind of missed that back to school window in years past. This time, with the dates being a little bit earlier, we'll capture everybody in the entire state and everybody can benefit.
If approved, the tax holiday would last from July 27th through August 5th. If you haven't taken your trick-or-treaters out yet, here are some last-minute tips from the Florida Highway Patrol tonight. Trick-or-treaters and parents be seen, carry a flashlight, wear bright clothing, and put reflective tape on costumes and goodie bags. Use sidewalks when possible. If sidewalks are not available, walk facing traffic as close to the curb as possible. Cross streets at crosswalks for intersections. Motorists, pay attention for those children out there on the street. And speaking of Halloween, the ABC7 family also got lots of Halloween spirit this year. Many employees here at WWSB got creative with their costumes this year. Everything from Father Time to Donald Trump, Beanie Babies, Gumby chickens. The costumes look great. We'd love to see what you and your family are dressing up for this year. Please share with us on Facebook. And here's to the scariest costume of all, our own Bob Harrigan.
I just went as the bodiless weatherman just a minute ago, Alan. I tell you, beautiful weather out there for the trick-or-treaters. Halloween night, not a problem at all. Currently, we have generally fair skies and 67 degrees. The dew point is at 47. That's nice and comfortable. You know, those kids putting on those costumes sometimes can be a little bit warm and muggy under there, but the humidity is really quite nice. 49%. North winds are at 5, and the pressure 30.10 inches. And that continues to be rather high. Temperatures into the upper 60s to low 70s across the area now. The Gulf water temperature now at 72 degrees. And as far as the evening planner goes, looks to be pretty good. We'll have generally fair skies. Temperatures in the upper 50s by 11 o'clock tonight. And that dry air is covering much of the Gulf of Mexico with fair skies. And those the fair skies will stay with us overnight. We're looking for, again, temperatures to drop down basically into the upper 50s. This morning they were in the upper 40s, and it looks as though we'll see temperatures a little bit warmer tomorrow. We're going for highs in the low 80s as opposed to the mid 70s that we saw today. Here's the temperature forecast then as we take you through time tonight. We're expecting lows, I mentioned, in the upper 50s. Then by 10 o'clock, we'll be warming up already at 70 degrees almost there at the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport, with highs expected to be into the low 80s throughout the day. Again, on Wednesday and Thursday, even warmer still, with temperatures expected to warm into the low to mid 80s in places. So, Alan, a spectacular night tonight for all the kids, ghosts and goblins out there, so not a problem. Yeah, at least we're saving a few bucks on the air conditioning too. That's right. All right, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, the first ever age-friendly festival in Sarasota. What are the plans for the festival moving forward when we return?
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help. And slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $15 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand, with no surprises, and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service 3 times in a row. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-457-2317. Go online or visit a Target store today.
ABC7 News at 7, weeknights.
The turnout at last weekend's Age-Friendly Festival in Sarasota, well, that says it all. It was packed. There were a lot of resources there for the Suncoast aging population and for a lot of them. Dwayne Lindo joins us with more. Dwayne.
Well, Alan, the festival is part of an effort in making Sarasota County an age-friendly community. It's an initiative that focuses on areas such as housing, community engagement, and volunteering. And you'd be surprised, the movement is not just focused on the elderly.
It was a first for Sarasota and the nation. Last Saturday, the first ever age-friendly festival with everything from entertainment acts to animal petting.
And I love all the services, the blood screening and the blood pressure check, and it's been informative.
All in an effort to encourage an active and healthy lifestyle through all ages.
So the purpose of the festival was to have an opportunity to come together, connect, learn, have experiences, and share, but then for the community to reflect, so what's ahead? What else should we work on?
But the festival is just the beginning. According to President and CEO of the Patterson Foundation, Deborah Jacobs, she says this is just the type of movement needed in Sarasota County.
Demographically, is the oldest county in America, in the large counties. So we're actually the petri dish for the nation. So as the rest of the world continues to mature, we're already here.
Originally jump-started by the World Health Organization, Sarasota County became the first place to apply for age-friendly status back in 2015. Now, with hundreds of communities worldwide with an age-friendly status, the Suncoast can look to others for ideas.
We are able to plug into what's cool that's going on in Stockholm, what's cool that's going on in Japan, what's great in Seattle. You bring those percolating ideas here, you let people talk about them, and you see what fits and doesn't fit.
The idea of the program, encouraging communities to enrich the quality of life while addressing the needs for all ages. It's something they've been doing a long time here at the Friendship Center.
We've been around since 1973, doing great stuff around aging and seniors, and we feel like everybody's just now getting to the party.
President and CEO of the Friendship Center, Erin McLeod, provides for older adults on the Suncoast. She says communities can be age-friendly without even knowing.
Wayfinding signage on the roads. Having good wayfinding benefits a 16-year-old driver that's new behind the wheel, as well as it does somebody who's in their 80s still driving and maybe visiting here from someplace else. It helps them find their way around.
The built environment, transportation, housing, outdoor spaces, the social environment, where we work, the activities that we partake in, and being involved with volunteering.
University of South Florida professor of aging studies, Kathy Black, points out that the movement is about education as well.
It's about how do we mobilize everybody, businesses, organizations, people, so that everybody recognizes this extended longevity, and how do we optimize those extended years?
According to Black, even benefiting a younger population.
So many people are older today, the whole world is aging, and we need to do more as a society to help people age well.
Those involved in the movement say there's no specific action plan for carrying out goals to make the Suncoast more age-friendly. It's all about connecting socially and giving back to the community.
We don't arrive with the answer. We arrive with the questions and create the space for people to connect at the time they're ready to. We always talk about, is there willingness, is there readiness, is there capacity, is there culture, and is there leadership to come together to create the future that's good for all of us.
Everybody is a stakeholder, and the more we get people involved in the movement, the better it is for all of us.
Now, a great example of being age-friendly. Next time you visit SRQ Airport and take the escalator, enjoy it because it's a 30% slower speed than normal escalators. For the mom holding on to the kids while on the elevator, or the elderly person that just needs to hold on a little tighter.
All right, Dwayne, thanks a lot. Coming up, more on why it's a good idea to know what's available for seniors on the Suncoast when we convene at the Trapezoid. Stay with us.
Describe a battery or bulb, and Batteries Plus Bulbs will have it. Tell us what's broken on your smartphone, and we'll fix it.
I need a new battery for my phone.
And a new screen.
What did you do?
Visit batteriesplus.com for a store near you.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
$40 million. That's the number of free phones still available and the number of how many Americans can still get prescriptions free.
Free could be wonderful.
That's why I'm still working at 77 years old to pay off my prescriptions.
I needed to have a prescription filled and I had to leave because I couldn't afford it.
Call now and see what's available for you. Free prescriptions. Over 10 million people get prescriptions free, and the program has expanded, so another 40 million can. Free dental. Over 15,000 dentists have provided over $330 million in free dental work. Free cell phones. 40 million free cell phones are still available with free minutes and more.
Free cell phone would change my life right now because it is something I cannot afford to get.
Medical supplies like back braces, knee braces, and diabetic supplies may be covered too. The free RX Plus hotline has saved callers over $12 million on their prescription costs. These free programs are now available to 40 million more people. Call now.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Welcome back. There's a good reason why so many people call the Suncoast paradise, the warm weather, the nation's best beaches. It is a place to plant your umbrella and stay for a while, which is why there is so much of an effort to make it sustained for the folks in terms of age-friendly Suncoast. And joining us for more is Deborah Jacobs, the president and CEO of the Patterson Foundation, Kathy Black, age-friendly advisor at USF Sarasota Manatee, and Dave Hutchinson, executive director of the Sarasota Manatee Metropolitan Planning Organization. I said during the break I have so many questions, and I'm going to start with this. You know, my parents, they retired to Florida like so many people, and when they first got here, everything was fairly easy. They were able to go out and take classes at the local university, go out to healthcare, make social networks. Increasingly, as they got older, that became more difficult, and I'm wondering if there is a system in place to address that in terms of our seniors as they first enjoy their new retirement and then, you know, age on.
Kathy, be the expert on this one.
Well, Age-Friendly Sarasota is all about that. At its core, it's about preventing people from doing preventative things so that we stay as active, healthy, and engaged for as long as possible, starting as early as possible. We can't wait to worry about our knees till we're 65. We can't worry about things. We've got to start doing it much earlier in life. So it's a long-term perspective, but also for people as they get older, it's about staying engaged fully socially, mentally, cognitively, spiritually, so that they stay as active and engaged as possible.
But there isn't necessarily a system. Every person wants it their way, so it's being prepared for the fact that we're just all living longer. You know, we're now 4 generations who are living, so we're fortunate in this region to have incredible social services, in government services, to help people at whatever phase they're in. But there are things people can do themselves to get ready for what phase.
Dave, the interesting thing is that many of our retirees are from different places around the country with different lifestyles and different modes of traffic and so forth. So, you know, how does somebody like yourself and the Metropolitan Planning Organization deal with that?
Well, there's certainly a recognition that mobility of our seniors is important, and we need to start providing more options for people so that they don't have to continue to drive into their 90s. And if we have systems in place that benefit those in their 90s, they'll benefit those in their teens, and the same types of urban experiences and living experiences that millennials are wanting are the same types of things that seniors are wanting. They want to be close to a store, close to a doctor.
I want to dig deeper into all these things in our next segment. We are just getting warmed up, and we'll have much more in age-friendly Sarasota right after we check the first alert weather, so stay with us.
Hi, I'm Joan London with A Place for Mom. Over the years, we've helped thousands of families find senior care, and today's senior living communities have never been better, with amazing amenities like movie theaters, exercise rooms and swimming pools, public cafes, bars and bistros, even pet care services. And nobody understands your options like the advisors at A Place for Mom. These are local expert advisors that will partner with you to find the perfect place and determine the right level of care, whether that's just a helping hand or full-time memory care. Best of all, it's a free service. Call today. A Place for Mom. You know your family, we know senior living. Together, we'll make the right choice.
Call A Place for Mom right now to get our free ebook on financing senior care, as well as a free referral for senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-290-0352. That's 1-800-290-0352.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
Everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
Our conversation on age-friendly Suncoast continues right after we get a check on the first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
How apropos is this? Look at this, Alan. This is a Van Wezel webcam showing a beautiful sunset tonight. And look at the color at the last slide. You'll see it certainly looks like Halloween out there. A beautiful night for all the ghosts and goblins out there. You see the orange sky right there, and it looks just absolutely outstanding. Some high cirrus clouds coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. That's about it. No rain planned through this evening. Up until 11 o'clock, pretty nice, 60 degrees, and we are anticipating low temperatures tonight to be slightly below average. Now, this morning we started off very cold For this time of year, we started off with temperatures into the mid to upper 40s. It'll be cool, let's not say cold, so the cold goes away. We'll look for temperatures to be a little bit below average into the upper 50s to right around 60 degrees if you live on the water. 54 in Northport, though, in Mayaca City, Lakewood Ranch, right around 55 degrees. Our normal low for this time of year in the low 60s, so it will be slightly below that across most of the region here tonight. And then a gradual warming trend back to average. It's been nice over the past couple of days, though, to be outside and not actually feel the weather. It was actually a little chilly on Monday, and today's highs were in the mid-70s. Tomorrow's highs will be in the low 80s. Currently at 67 degrees. This is looking out over Casey Key, the dew point 47. That's still nice. That humidity staying low. Typically the dew point temperatures this time of year are in the low 60s, so it's been rather dry. North winds at 5 miles an hour, and the high today was below average of 76 degrees, the average at 82. There's that morning low, 47 degrees. It tied the old mark set back in 1963. Temperature got as cold as it did back in 1963. No rainfall to report. Will end this month now at 2.82 inches. That's below average, just a little bit. Well above average. It will end above average for the year, as we are anticipating, again, the rainfall amounts not all that excessive in November. Typically only about 2 inches of rain we see in November and December, not much more than that. Well, temperatures right now across the area into the low 70s, 67 now Longboat Key, 68 at Palm Air, 70 though in Braden, 70 in Braden Country Club, and 68 Lake Sarasota. Osprey now at 69, 70 in Northport. Plantation there in South Venice at 70 degrees. In Venice out on the island, it's 72, 71 in Inglewood. As far as the forecast goes tomorrow, a simply gorgeous day. High temperatures warming into the upper 70s to low 80s. Now, upper 70s will be felt near the area beaches, but inland areas will get into the low 80s, say Lakewood Ranch, Parrish, we're talking also Laurel Oak, and places down south into East Venice, probably right around 81, 82 degrees. But plenty of sunshine, and temperatures are expected to fall, as I mentioned, down into the low to mid 50s and then warm up quickly into the upper 70s to near 80 degrees tomorrow afternoon under generally fair skies. No mention of rainfall. The next chance for rain doesn't come until the weekend, and that rain chance is only at 10%. That's extremely low, and we don't anticipate much rain at all. Now, in the tropics, we'll have one more month finally before we can say goodbye to this extremely dangerous season that we saw 2017. This is an area favored for development in the Western Caribbean. Some long-range models do depict a storm developing down there in about, say, 10 to 12 days. It's a long way out, but we'll watch it nonetheless. Not a problem here. The tropics remain fairly quiet. There's a system way out in the Atlantic that's showing something, but it's going to move off to the north. Winds will be out of the east, turning to the north tomorrow. We'll start off at 10, subside to 5. Water temperature at 72. UV index a high 12 tomorrow. And tides upcoming, 10:53 for the next high tide. Sunrise will be at 7:41. That all changes, by the way, Saturday night, Sunday morning before you go to bed. You want to fall back 1 hour. Spooktacular night tonight. Happy Halloween, everyone. And then for tomorrow, mostly sunny and beautiful, a little warmer, high near 80 degrees. And the extended forecast shapes up to be just outstanding right through the weekend. We gain an hour and then a slight chance for showers come Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Alan will be back with his guests right after this. Stick around.
Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
Everything all right?
Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery?
Sure.
We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Everyone's buzzing about Suncoast View.
I like watching the Suncoast View.
I like the Suncoast View.
The cooking segments, I love the recipes. The theater segments are terrific.
Join Stephanie Roberts, Linda Carson, and Bo Beth Yates for Hot Topics, everyday issues, celebrities, food, fashion, fitness, and everything in between. Nothing is off limits.
They're just fun.
For smart, fun talk in the afternoon, watch Suncoast View, weekdays at 4 on ABC7.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 70.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
Welcome back. We're talking about age-friendly Suncoast, and joining us for more is Deborah Jacobs, the president and CEO of the Patterson Foundation, Kathy Black, age-friendly advisor at USF Sarasota Manatee, and Dave Hutchinson's executive director of Sarasota Manatee Metropolitan Planning Organization. Deborah, I want to take us back again and talk a little bit about how this concept for age-friendly Suncoast came to be.
Well, actually, we've got to give Kathy Black credit for that, because actually, if we wind back in 2006, SCOPE, Sarasota County Openly Plan for Excellence, did a community engagement process called Aging the Possibilities. Very important, the wording there, because it was aging what's the possible, not what's the problems. And through that community engagement process, a number of things emerged. ITN, the Independent Transportation Network, was born, incubated, and is now with us. Institute for the Ages came out of it. And when the Patterson Foundation was doing its legacy initiatives, we decided to do one that was called Aging with Dignity and Independence as a community participatory study. And we contracted with SCOPE, who contracted with Kathy Black, and we did a study. Kathy's an Energizer Bunny, and she kept it alive, and she learned about the World Health Organization's global network. And to her credit, on her own, she went and talked to the county commissioners. And from there, the Patterson Foundation felt there was an opportunity to support a movement.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, Kathy, because as I was saying before, in terms of my experience with my parents as they retired, the biggest obstacle was the continuity of care, whether it's involving health care planning or financial planning or getting around. Is that the core of what we're trying to talk about here?
Well, remember, the work, again, is covering aging across the spectrum. So it's trying to help people age well from as early stages in life as possible, and as well as for people who are already at older stages. How do we keep people healthy? Providing rehabilitative services, palliative care, right through the end of life. And we know that community features matter to people. The homes that they live in, access to transportation and services, communication they receive, being treated with respect, activities that they partake in, opportunities to engage in work or volunteering. All of these things matter to people, and of course our healthcare services and other community supports that help people age well. You know, a lot of people, some of the things they struggle with most in their later years are things that are not covered by healthcare services. Things like caregiving, widowhood, dealing with chronic illness. This is where the community needs to come together. And if it wasn't for the Patterson Foundation, this movement would not be happening in this community.
And I want to dive more into that. But Dave, first I want to ask you, a lot of the things that Kathy is talking about is dependent on terms of getting from here to there. And so it raises a lot of questions, including our transit system and our mass transit system. And basically, how do you and your colleagues try to address these issues?
Well, we know that we can't continue to get around the way we do now for the next 30 years. We can't afford it. We won't have enough roads. We can sometimes afford to maintain the roads we have but not add new ones. In other communities, it's hard to even pay for repaving the roads that we've got. Gas taxes are down compared to the costs of our transportation system. So looking for alternatives that will still help people get around, because no one wants to give up independence.
What are some of the ideas out there?
Well, programs like transit, mass transit, buses, they're affordable for those who are able to catch the schedules of the buses. Increasing those schedules so that they serve more people is an option. Programs like the Independent Transportation Network, where people have an arrangement, they don't need a smartphone, they have an arrangement with ITN and have their mobility option provided. And also Uber is an example,
which I've discovered is an incredible thing.
And we had a panel at the Age Friendly Festival, that discussed some of what the different innovations are in each of those areas.
Deborah, how does the Patterson Foundation determine what to support both financially and with other resources, and what will be most helpful to our population no matter what age they are?
Well, in terms of the age-friendly network, the Patterson Foundation believes and has learned when you connect people, nonprofits, businesses, government, and media, and they're all talking about it or engaged from their respective positions, we can come up with new possibilities that turn into new realities. So in the transportation, I wanted to tag on to Dave. I love the experiment that the city of Sarasota is doing with iRide. I mean, you call it, they are at your door, it's a free ride, and you just pay with whatever tip you want. So I mean, that's an experiment. And I watched iRide go to the Pines, which is a senior living facility where the seniors who think, I want to go downtown and have breakfast, and they can do iRide.
That, I would imagine, opens up the doors for so many people who, when they lose the ability to drive themselves, become basically homebound in many ways.
Yeah. We outlive our safe driving abilities by about 10 years. In an auto-dependent society, how do we get around? So this model that we're hearing us talk about, where businesses, nonprofits, government, everybody plays a role. You know, we heard from a lot of people in our community. They can't walk to the bus stop. They can't wait in the hot sun. They need door-to-door service. So we've got a range of needs that we need to meet across the way, and all of these different services are part of the mosaic to keep us active.
What are the biggest obstacles still out there? I mean, there are retirees in our community who come from great means, and they could get all the support that they need, but not everybody is in that position.
Yeah, well, you know, this is about a community for everybody to age well across all price points, and across 1 out of 3 boomers lives alone. And so many people have different circumstances, so they maybe don't have somebody who can give them a ride. We've heard a lot of creative solutions in our community on the driving. We know people that go out and just take right-hand turns. We know people that save all their errands for one day. You're seeing an increase in home-delivered meals. The autonomous vehicles on the horizon. There are so many things that are out there.
And there's neighbors helping neighbors.
Neighbors helping neighbors.
It's one of the other things about the age-friendly movement is helping people meet their neighbors and act as a community to care for each other.
And Dave, we only have about 15 seconds left, but we're going to have a lot more folks retiring with the baby boomers coming into the picture.
That's part of our economic development strategy for Southwest Florida. So we welcome them, and we want to have ways that they can get around without having to get in their car.
All right, we have to take a quick break, and we'll be back for final thoughts in a moment.
Attention type 2 diabetics. The FDA warns of an increased risk of amputation associated with certain diabetes medications. If you took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation or one of these other serious injuries, call the Rely On group right now. If you've suffered amputation or any of these injuries after taking your diabetes medication, call the Rely On group today. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA has recently warned about an increased risk of leg and foot amputations associated with the use of certain diabetic medications such as Invokana and Invokamet. If you or a loved one took the diabetes medications Invokana or Invokamet and then suffered an amputation, ketoacidosis, kidney failure, or even death, call the Rely On group now. We are here to help you get the justice you deserve. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Call 800-355-8205. That's 800-355-8205.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children.
Call 800-738-9812. 800-738-9812.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
And our guests join us right now for final thoughts. Deborah, I want to ask you what you want folks to take away from this conversation, but I also want to go back to last weekend and the age-friendly event. How many people were there? Because it was absolutely jammed, and the fact that it was really says a lot.
We had our little clickers, and we had more than 4,000 participants in the Age-Friendly Festival of all ages, and it was that Mother Nature rained on us starting at 1 o'clock, or we would have even gone past that number.
What does that tell you?
It tells us that when people have an opportunity to learn, have fun, and engage, people will come out for a quality event.
Kathy, I got to ask you, what are the implications if we don't do the things that we've been talking about here for the last hour?
You know, Alan, you hear people dreading their later years. People are afraid of being cooped up in the house and a whole cascade of negative events happening. Depression, falling, risk of scamming. This is about creating the future that we want to be so that we all live fully as much as possible. So this is benefiting not just us, but it's benefiting all of us. So planning for our longevity and thinking about how the community can make it better for all of us, that's what this is about.
Dave, you know, when you talk about the shared transportation, that seems like it's a great idea and that we're utilizing it more than ever before. But when we're talking about mass transportation or having enough roads and highways to accommodate the influx of people moving to our area, that takes money, which seems to be in short supply these days.
That is the biggest challenge in transportation, but it's also a very exciting time with some of the potential that's out there for change in the future.
Okay, all right, we have to wrap up our conversation. I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. Just before we go, we want to share with you what some of you had to say about last night's topic on city-owned properties in Sarasota. The city of Sarasota is only about 25 square miles, but owns more than 200 properties. That includes some valuable bayfront properties. Some of them have been rented out for only $1 a year. So we went to Facebook to learn what you think. And Lily says, being rented out for only $1 a year, are they on welfare? If not, why so? Cheap. Tommy says they want to raise money by reinstalling parking meters. It didn't work the last time and it won't work this time either. Charge the going rate and stop sucking off the taxpayers. Bob says they will hold on to them until their high-income tax-based citizens need them for something like the proposed Bayfront 2020. All city property is basically being handed over to build a bigger performing arts hall, symphony, and anything for the performing arts. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation about tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast.com.abc7. And FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. And just a reminder, if you want to stay up to date on the latest local breaking news and see the alerts on your phone, iPhone users and iPad users will need to download our new news app. Just go to the App Store and search for WWSB or My Suncoast. Android users, you have no problem. You're just going to get the new version automatically. We want to thank our guests for being here tonight. Deborah Jacobs is the president and the CEO of the Patterson Foundation. Kathy Black, age-friendly advisor at USF Sarasota Manatee, and Dave Hutchinson, the executive director of the Sarasota Manatee Metropolitan Planning Organization. When we return, we'll have a final look at who may be the new head of the Fed, plus an update on the Russian investigation. We'll be back in just a moment.
If you have Medicare, I have 3 things you'll want to hear. There's an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan from Humana. It includes Medicare Part D prescription drug coverage, and it may save you money in so many ways. It's all in this book, and it's yours free just for calling. You'll see all the ways the plan might save you money, even on prescription drugs. In fact, last year, Humana Medicare Advantage prescription drug plan members saved an estimated $6,500 on average on their prescription costs. And you get all this coverage with an affordable monthly plan premium, and in some areas, no plan premium. Even if you've looked at Humana before, you need to take another look at this plan. We'll send you the decision guide absolutely free, in a slightly smaller size, of course. Discover the all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan that could cut your costs and cover your prescriptions. Call 1-800-824-8241 or go to humanabigbook.com. The savings are too big to miss.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's turn to ABC7 business commentator Richard Stern, who is here to talk about Janet Yellen and the Fed. Janet Yellen's term is set to expire. There has been some debate about whether President Trump would reappoint her or not. News out this week seems to be that he's going to be turning to Jay Powell, who is a governor at another Fed.
Correct. Mr. Powell has a very impressive curriculum vitae. He graduated from Princeton. He went to Georgetown Law School. He worked for the Treasury Department when George H.W. Bush was the President of the United States. He was appointed by Barack Obama in 2012, so he's already spent 5 years as a Fed governor. And most people believe that the changes will be very subtle, if any at all. It's Janet Yellen one more time.
I heard it pointed out this morning that unlike other Fed chairs, he is not by trade an economist. He is by trade an investment banker. Does that make any difference?
Well, to someone like me, that's a positive. I think he understands the world of investment, but I think that the fact that he has spent 5 years as a governor and the fact that he has seen this very low interest rate environment and what it's done to spark the stock market, what it's done to get companies rebuilding things again, is a clear positive, regardless of his background. The fact that he spent 5 years in Janet Yellen's environment is clearly, most people think, a real positive.
So what are you seeing in terms of the near future? Because there was an interest rate increase a time ago. The Fed is meeting tomorrow. The president leaves on a 10-day foreign trip later this week. Is another increase coming? Would that change, or would that be part of, let's say, him going before the Senate in terms of questions about that?
Well, I don't think there's going to be a change right now. The Fed is meeting today and tomorrow. Typically, they make an announcement at 2 o'clock on Wednesday, which will be probably a non-announcement. Most people think there'll be a slight increase in December, pretty well baked into the pie at this point. But rates continue to be incredibly low, and people are taking that money and saying, I'm not going to accept 2.3% for 10 years. I think I'll buy stock in XYZ Corporation. And obviously, we're sitting here at the end of October. The market's been nothing short of terrific, both in October, which is historically not exactly a terrific time on Wall Street, but the low interest rates have caused this market to go up, and I think it could be more of the same.
Then what would be the point of raising interest rates in December?
It's going to be a very gradual thing. I think the Fed sees their role as continuing to try and make the economy go forward, but they want to do it in little bitty steps because they understand that these rates are artificially low. Their balance sheet is just nothing short of amazing, but over time they do want rates to go a little higher. They actually want inflation to go a little higher.
Okay. You know, Richard, I can't help but notice the new glasses.
Well, thank you.
Kind of going with the Alan Greenspan look, like you know, maybe you were applying for the job and just not telling us about it?
Oh, thank you. Alan Greenspan perfected the speak for 45 minutes and nobody knew what you talked about. So
Totally irrational exuberance on my part.
Exactly.
Thanks a lot, Richard.
Pleasure.
Richard Stern joins us every other Tuesday to discuss the stock market, business, and more. We'll have more of your primetime headlines when we return. Stay with us.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
If you're between 50 and 85 years old, call the number on your screen right now for free information on how to save your family thousands of dollars. We're Family Love Plans, and we've been helping families just like yours for over 30 years. The average funeral today can cost up to $10,000 or more, but the most you'll get from government benefits is just $255. How will your family pay the difference? At Family Love Plans, we can help you and your family. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam and your plan can't be canceled. Better still, your rate will never go up and your benefits will never go down. Get your free information about our senior plans. Just answer a few simple questions and receive approval right over the phone.
Call 1-800-707-3608. That's 1-800-707-3608.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffrey Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Checking primetime headlines, the investigation by the special counsel has revealed for the first time evidence of a member of the Trump campaign attempting to directly reach out to the Russians during the 2016 election about potentially damaging information about Hillary Clinton. The guilty plea by an advisor to the campaign for lying to the FBI and the two former campaign leaders being indicted on other grounds, all coming as executives from Silicon Valley arrive at the Capitol. ABC's Serena Marshall reports.
A presidential pivot. Mr. Trump tried today to move back to policy.
President, what's your reaction to George Papadopoulos'
Thank you very much.
Plea? And passed the charges special counsel Robert Mueller levied against his former campaign manager Paul Manafort, his deputy, and the guilty plea by his campaign foreign policy advisor George Papadopoulos. The indictment for tax evasion, money laundering, fraud against Manafort and his deputy Rick Gates came the same morning Papadopoulos' guilty plea was unsealed. He pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI about several interactions with a suspected Russian agent with significant ties to the Russian government. President Trump's personal lawyer responded.
The end result is the meeting doesn't take place. There's no crime of collusion.
And tried to put to rest concerns the president may fire the special counsel.
There is no conversation regarding firing Robert Mueller, and there's no basis to fire Robert Mueller.
The top Republican on the Senate Intelligence Committee not comforted by that promise.
Can't be confident on anything.
As questions of possible collusion swirl on Capitol Hill, Russia's interference front and center, with executives from Facebook, Twitter, and Google facing a congressional panel investigating Russia's social media ad buys during the election. Facebook revealed those Russian-purchased ads reached more than half of all U.S. Facebook users, 126 million people. That's more than 1 in 3 Americans. Investigators say the sophisticated campaign also included Twitter posts and YouTube videos like this one, an effort to stir up racial tensions and influence the election.
When it comes to the 2016 election,
I want to be clear. We take what happened on Facebook very seriously.
Facebook told senators that in October of 2016, they disabled nearly 6 million fake accounts. But one thing the senators want to know is what exactly they're going to be doing moving forward to ensure national security. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
House Republicans are expected to release their final version of a tax reform bill tomorrow afternoon. Members of the Ways and Means Committee are still hammering out the final details of the bill. Over the weekend, Republicans made a major concession on the federal deduction for state and local property taxes. The original plan had called for an end to that deduction, but many House members, especially those in the Northeast, pushed back. The GOP says it is on track for a Wednesday debut, but concede new revelations in the Russia investigation could make passing the legislation more difficult. President Trump will not visit the demilitarized zone on his trip to Asia next week. The demilitarized zone, or DMZ, is the heavily fortified border between North and South Korea. It's historically been a symbolic chance for the U.S. president to look directly into the so-called Hermit Kingdom, but the White House says there's not enough time in the president's schedule. The news comes amid heightened tensions between Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Trick-or-treaters will be arriving with plenty of candy later tonight, but before digging in, keep in mind not to eat too much of a special kind of candy. The Food and Drug Administration is warning about the dangers of excessive black licorice. Apparently, too much black licorice can cause health problems like irregular heartbeat, especially in people over 40. And the ingredient in the licorice makes it sweeter, but also can cause a dangerous drop in potassium. The FDA says that can lead to high blood pressure, swelling, and even congestive heart failure in some people. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Bob, how's your trick-or-treating going so far?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've changed a little bit. I found my body, but it's a different one, Alan. 6, I lost it, but now it's back. How you doing?
All right, well, stay away from the black licorice and stop eating so much of everything else.
And no more beer, right?
Right.
No, just kidding.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Good night.